This is the Weather Channel.
Girls Like Girls podcast.
This is the Girls Like Girls podcast. I am your host, Leslie, aka the Leslie Martinez.
And I'm your co-host, Gerald, the realist.
And today we have episode 11. We have two guests here, a couple. We have Samirah and Miya. Can you guys tell us really quick what you do? What you do every day? Work, hobbies, whatever.
Okay, well, I'm currently in school for clinical nutrition through Southwest College in Naturopathic Medicine and Health Sciences. I'm pursuing my master's. My days really consist of a lot of homework, and I also have my own business that I do personal training and nutrition out of. And then after will be graduating in December, I will be pursuing a doctor of chiropractic medicine at the end of February.
Nice.
Wait, so you're going to be like a doctor?
A doctor of chiropractic medicine.
So people are going to call you doctor?
Yeah.
You're going to put that on?
Mm-hmm. All the credentials.
Okay.
Yep.
That's tight. I like chiropractors. They're like magical, I swear. I feel like they can cure shit that other doctors can't.
Yeah, it's a lot of, even within my program now, we look at the body as a whole system rather than parts. But you also have to understand those parts to understand how the body does work as one system. So I think I was really interested, after I graduated, I was accepted into a couple of PA programs, but I decided to take deferment just because I wanted to gain a little bit of experience in the medical field and see what Western medicine had to offer for me. And I just recognized that it seemed like it was just a lot of pushing pills, a lot of, not getting to the root of the problem. So I decided to go more of a holistic route, which is what I'm doing now at naturopathic school. And we really just talk about how all of it comes together, not specifically working on one pinpoint of the body.
That's what's up.
I feel like we need a lot more doctors like you in the world.
Yeah.
I feel like
really.
I
think overall, though, I think it really should be integrative, just because, in Western medicine or allopathic medicine, there's certain things, like if you came to me with a broken leg, I can't just be like, vitamin C, color. I'm going to be like,
put a Band-Aid on it.
You need to go get surgery, and then I can help you with preventative aspects of how to heal better or different things. But I think overall it should be more integrative. I think all forms of medicine are needed in their adequate forms or modalities. But I think what Western medicine has really propagated towards, specifically in the Western hemisphere, is it hasn't really done what it should do.
Yeah, the doctors that are more towards take this pill, like you said, don't get to the root of the problem, and we actually experienced that with you. We went to a regular doctor and they gave us all these things that they thought it was, and we went to a natural doctor and they gave us the problem like that, and they ended up fixing the problem. And I don't know, the Western type of medicine doesn't really do much but seem like it's for money.
It is. It's ran by pharmaceuticals and insurance. If I can only give you one pill that is going to cure your issue, you're not ever going to have to come back to me. I'm not going to profit off of that. There's been a lot of studies in psyllium or mushrooms, that a lot of those research was done in the early 2000s, and they cut the production on those studies because they recognized that only taking one pill will cure somebody's depression or help them with their depression, and certain aspects of that for 9-10 months, maybe I only need to come back again. How am I going to profit off of one pill? There's no way.
Even if you listed it $1 million or some shit,
I think even if you listed it at $1 million, I don't even think that would necessarily be ethical, just because I think that everyone should have access to healthcare. Everyone should have access to, housing, to water, to food. And I don't think, I think in my, ideal world, I would hope that these specific things would happen, but obviously that's just kind of not where we're at. I think that we started to make strides towards helping people to some extent. But there's so much historical and generational aspects to health in general, and how it all plays a role in this huge feedback loop system with our food, our water, working constant long hours, that it's if I'm able to profit off of this, these particular families are able to profit off of it and keep making money, why would I go an alternative route?
That's intense. I feel this is a great start right here.
Do you
It's a lot of
think,
information.
or do you follow Dr. Sebi?
Yeah, I've read a lot of his stuff. I think, just kind of like you guys were talking about earlier, I was just picking up on it. It was just like eating meat or not eating meat. And, there's not one dietary plan that's like a one size fits all. It's like, I can't give you this one medication that's going to fix all your problems, and I think there's just so much information, like mass media, social media, the internet, different things that give you like these kind of like short, quick fixes or, whatever it may be that you're really interested in. But I don't think that it's necessarily, registered towards, it should be more individualized, more personalized. What might work for you might not work for me.
I agree. It's a good point. I feel like I never really paid attention to that.
I think do you think it even comes down to ethnicity and race on
most definitely.
how our bodies will produce or function?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a huge role. I think within the Western constraints of medicine, like, a lot of these particular treatments were, from a historical standpoint, done on African American people. Like, for example, pap smears for women, that was done on African slaves using these long, huge contraptions to open somebody up. And it's like, they didn't even look at, not even just people of color, women, like us as this like level aspect of a human being at the end of the day. And yes, socioeconomic class, does a lot for you. Might not have accessibility or resources to other aspects of health or just housing or,
Right.
Ways of life, even in indigenous populations. And she can touch on that a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. But it's just we're put at a disadvantage. And then a lot of people think, well, you can just get it out from the dirt. You can bloom out of these things. But at the same time, it's like, if you don't know any better, how are you going to do better?
Mm.
That part.
Facts.
Maya, what do you do? Let's jump back real quick.
Well, right now I kind of do like social work, so I work for like an agency that has a contract with Department of Child Safety. So I help families who have like DCS involved in their family, like with resources and stuff to get that closed or like get their kids back if their kids have been placed in the system, basically. But I'm also an artist, and then I'm also in my master's right now at ASU for biomimicry.
So what is that?
What is that?
That's literally everybody's response when I say that.
I don't even think I've ever even heard of that. Like,
Yeah, it's like it's a new field, but it's really about like sustainability and stuff. So it's a master's in science, and it is kind of, I'm trying to think of like the best way to explain it, but it's like studying biology and emulating sort of like design principles like in biology and in the natural world, and like emulating that into like human design to solve human problems. So like an example is there's a like surgical like plastic that was made. They use it for like catheters and like a bunch of other stuff. But basically they studied how shark skin works, because shark skin is like the texture of it doesn't allow bacteria to adhere and grow on it. So they studied
crazy.
that and then produced surgical materials that reduces the like rate of infection.
And plastic consumption, because it's really just, it's sterile plastic that's going into somebody. But even, I think another good example for them would be like the Caviar to cardboard. Why don't you explain?
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to... Yeah, so it's also kind of like looking at like system processes. So it's really like trying to change things from like a linear scale. So like think of like a plastic water bottle, for example. Like it's produced and then it's used and then it's thrown away, and at its end life it just ends up in a landfill and nothing's really done with it. And it's kind of trying to change that from like a linear scale to more of like a closed loop. So where the end life it produces more life and things like that. So the Cardboard to Caviar project is like just an example that we studied or like watched a video on. And what was it? It was like do you remember? It was
like they had caviar or whatever, and then it started off with like cardboard, and then they shredded the card. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there's like restaurants in this community these people were looking into. Oops. And basically like they would go and collect all the cardboard and stuff from these like restaurants that was just being like thrown out, and then they shredded it and then they sold it to equine centers.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it was used, for
It's
that.
basically like the horses soiled it, and then
Yeah.
they fed whatever the horses like material, like waste material, to these fish, and then that's what kind of closed the loop of like, you know, the eggs coming from the fish. Like it's like a huge feedback loop system that just plays within itself. No waste reduction.
Yo, honestly, I'm gonna have to rewatch this video like 3 times to like. I feel that's so crazy. Like I'm so shocked that what you guys are both like going through right now, like learning, and like it's like the same thing but like different.
No, for sure.
Like it connects, but it's like 2 totally different things. You know, like
Just trying to change things to like preventative more than responsive. Like even recycling, was like a response to like massive plastic waste and consumption. It wasn't created with the intent that like, oh, these products can be reused. It was there's something called like, I think it's called like heat, beat, and treat methods, which is basically like making products that like use a lot of energy. You have to heat them up, and then you use a lot of energy to like produce it, and then you treat it with chemicals. And so it's like a really unsustainable way to produce anything. But yeah, it's interesting.
It makes
so
sense. It makes
crazy.
sense when you break it down.
Yeah.
But if I were ever to like to just read this, I'd be like, I have to read
would
that
you
6
ever read
times.
on? Would you ever read on that?
Them talking about it, yeah. Now I like got my interest.
Yeah, but before I'm saying like I'm honestly mind blown. That shit never really crosses my mind like that.
You know, just like you said, that's like I said though, like, you know, if you're not around these particular like resources, you're not gonna know any better.
Right.
You know, I can't just be like, oh my god, how come you didn't know about waste consumption?
Yeah.
You know, like you're just literally gonna look at me like, what the heck is that? You
Yeah.
know, like
Do you like to like teach people these things and educate people?
yeah, for sure, we both do. I mean, that's really what I do on my console. It's like we kind of go through like a full workup of what your diet looks like, and I kind of coach you and make things that are more personalized for you, and I kind of give you education on, you know, why these things. I want to explain. I want people to like take what I teach them and teach their family, you know.
So when you give people like these plans, is it all plant-based?
No, it's particularly whatever dietary plan you want to continue in. If we're recognizing, okay, this is maybe might be causing a little bit more inflammation in the body, I might recommend other things, but I'm not gonna ever like, I think, and this is just being very honest, like in the beginning I was very like plant-based, like we're hurting animals, like, you know, and I didn't go to being plant-based. I was actually vegan for a period of time, and it was just for, you know, the importance and, you know, the diet, like the dietary advancement that it would help my body with. But then I started to learn more about the animals and how that also played a role in like consumption. But I don't ever like push those things because our ancestors were still eating animal protein. It's just not at the consumption level that we do it now. Our portion sizes are huge, specifically in the U.S. So
We're not even anatomically like built to consume meat on a regular basis.
When it comes to like our teeth and when it comes to our stomachs, our stomachs can't even break that down.
yeah,
Yeah.
not at those high efficient rates by any means.
So if it's a little,
Yeah, you're still within moderation. Everything is fine within moderation. I'm gonna tell people. I always tell people that. You never want to cut out something completely, and you're like having like food aversions where you're like, oh my god, it's so bad for me. You form this negative relationship with the food.
I formed a very bad relationship with like any meat.
It's, you know, it's different for everyone. When you're vegan or vegetarian, you're really low in B vitamins, and those are really linked to like your energy. So, I mean, you can take supplements that are targeted towards that, but I'm always going to push whole foods first. I'm never really going to go straight to supplements because we should be eating whole foods. You shouldn't there's people who just drink supplements or eat supplements all day. And it's like you're eating a broken down processed form of something that you could just get fresh or frozen.
Like Whole Foods, like the store?
Like just whole foods in general.
Like stuff
No,
that's not like super processed.
yeah, I think she
like,
knows. I think
more
she's just
natural. Yeah.
All right, so Sprouts. No, I'm just like, what?
Oh my goodness, here we go.
Question. Okay, so for someone who's been vegan or like doesn't eat meat, is jumping back into meat, is it gonna hurt?
Yeah, so you're gonna want to do it in like stages, just because you don't have that particular bacteria to help you break down animal protein or animal sources. So you might have like, everyone is completely different. You might be one of those people that can just jump right back into it, but I always recommend doing everything on like a gradual scale or a sliding scale, just because you don't have adequate bacteria.
Yeah, I mean that's what I did, and I got kind of like when I transitioned back into like eating meat because I was trying to like gain more weight.
There's definitely, you know, importance in eating animal protein. I'm not gonna whether you're spiritual, religious, whatever, you know, animals are also here, you know, as a like the circle of life aspect. If that wasn't the case, you think, you know, cavemen would have just been like, oh, we're just, you know, chilling with them. Like they might have needed that as a resource. You know, they might have needed that as a fuel source. So it's not necessarily that you shouldn't eat it. Like there's a lot of benefits to it, but then also you have to take into account like how people are raising their animals and our soil content. I'm always going to talk about the soil. I always talk about the soil.
It's not good out here.
It's not anywhere. Like
Mostly here though.
Yes, for
Because
sure.
In Ecuador, like a lot of the fruits and vegetables and stuff are like
organically grown,
or they're like family farms and stuff like that. They don't use pesticides. There's not a bunch of like GMOs and stuff in it, and even their animals are like free range.
Animals are happier, and people don't understand there's a huge like energy transfer that goes between you and animals, and just food in general.
See, you know I'm sounding crazy telling people this?
No, you don't.
Look at them. Look, I got my source right here. But oh, sorry, Jay. Sorry.
That's cool.
No, I'm playing.
Nah, you know what though? It's crazy. Like I feel like I never really paid attention to that till I like really started hanging out with her. She was like, well, both of them, you know, they're like real big on like, oh, we don't eat meat. Like that's just something we don't do. And like I've tried to like not like initiate it, like here, eat some, but like offer, you know, even if that's chicken or whatever. And I feel like sometimes there's moments where they're like, damn, like that really does
hell
look
yeah,
good,
that
you
shit,
know?
those wings just look good, but I'm
and
not
it's
about to
crazy,
do
like,
it.
She started teaching me more about the importance of that, and it's like I've always been a person that eats everything and anything, like at any given time, you know, it doesn't matter like what. I've never been picky, so but just knowing like the real nutrition side of it, of like I don't know, the importance is like just a lot higher than people think, you know.
I think a lot of people are disconnected.
Yeah,
They're not really aware, or they don't have the chance to even, you know, have the resources to be aware.
Or they don't want to know.
That too.
Like a lot of people don't even want to talk about it. Like no. They just dismiss it every time. But I don't know. People are just, I feel like, in their ways, and you can't push it on people.
That's cool though. Do you guys feel like that's what makes you guys like such a solid like? You guys understand each other because you guys are like real into the same thing.
Yeah, I think we both like. I mean, we could just share like how we kind of got together.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I mean, me and Maya met when we were like 16 and 18, and we kind of talked a little bit during that period of time.
Who was 16? Who was 18?
She was 16, I was 18.
And then she ghosted me, but she likes to leave that part out.
I did.
You guys said it.
And then we kind of like reconnected almost 2 years ago. Obviously we still like kept in touch a little bit like through social media, but nothing to that extent. But I mean, we were both kind of going through like rough periods within our life, and I think that kind of also, we're kind of just like shoulders for one another, and I think that kind of just transitioned into us. I mean, we tried to talk a few times, but
like 4 times.
She could count.
But yeah, I think we are able to understand and allow each other to have the space to like. I think that was the one particular thing that I talked to her about before us even getting into a relationship. I was like, I want to be able to like express what I'm feeling, or and just from previous relationships wasn't really able to do that. And then yeah, I flew her out here, and then we had a long talk in the car, and she was just like, I really want to be with you.
One more time.
I really want to be with you. I'm joking.
That's not how she's not joking. That's not how I sound, but
That's funny.
She's passionate.
That's crazy. That's dope though. So where are you originally from then?
Kind of like all over. My parents were in the military like when I was first born, so I was born in England, and then I lived in Oregon, like on the coast for 8 years, and then I moved to Arizona for 9 years and like graduated, and then I got my bachelor's degree at Colorado State University. So I was in Colorado for 5 years, and then I was in Ecuador for 3 months, and then I went back to Colorado and then moved out here.
Damn, Ecuador.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about that later, but damn, that's crazy. So how old are you?
23.
And
26.
Someone's younger than me. It's these cougars, right?
Age? What's the age? Like
Yeah,
what is it?
26. She just turned 24.
Like
Yeah, she
3 days ago.
It's coming up there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
she turned 24
happy
in
belated.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so see, it's not crazy.
It must be. What is this?
you gotta get them when they're young, huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Not even matured yet. And shit.
No, you be joking and calling yourself a cougar all
I
the
do
time.
sometimes.
She don't like to tell
Like-
people she was 18 and I was 16.
It really wasn't that. It's not like,
It's not that.
you know, whatever.
It's not.
Because I was 21 and she was 19.
Mm.
And I was like,
It's not like she was like out like seeking out like 16-year-olds.
Right. Yeah.
With the fucking magnifying glass, huh? Like, see.
Looking it up.
So you're from England, so that means like you're from England. You were born there.
I was born there, but I'm not like from England. I don't know.
Can you speak like with the accent or no?
Can you show us your
I
accent?
can't. No.
Can we show you an accent? You tell us if it's good.
Yeah, I'll tell you if it's accurate.
No, I'm just.
Like, wow, that's a brave move there. You're on your own on that one.
Oh, you're supposed to do it with
I
me.
got you. Okay. Let's see.
So, what's your guys' take on cannabis?
I think it's, you know, good. I think, like, for lack of better words, I think it's, you know, I think there's obviously, I don't want to say that, like, it's addictive, but I definitely have seen it, like, change people. I will say that, like, where it becomes, like, this only thing, that runs their life entirely. They have to constantly be high, or, you know, I'm like, how do you even still feel high if you're smoking that much, you know? But I just think that, I think it definitely has its, you know, powerful purposes. Do I think it's also been cross-marketed? So it's, you know, not necessarily like our Cheech and Chong stuff that was coming out of the ground. I think there's other things that are put into it, but obviously there's also too, you know, you can go to specific, you know, dispensaries or, you know, or organizations and learn how they grow their stuff.
Right, like farms.
Oh, yeah. I agree with her. Like, I think it can be really useful and stuff, and I think it's a better, like, alternative to, again, like, medications and stuff that they prescribe. And it helped me, like, when I don't really, like, smoke that often because of work and school. I'm not really very productive when I smoke, but I just be wanting to, like, eat and then take a nap. Yeah, because I was on, like, a lot of medications for an extended period of time just for, like, mental health reasons, and they made me, like, lose, like, 15 pounds in, like, 3 weeks. And I'm already small, so it was, like, a lot. So then they were causing me to, like, not want to eat and stuff. So then they were trying to, like, prescribe me something to help with, like, my appetite. I'm like, I'm just gonna smoke. Like,
Yeah, so
I'm
that
gonna
worked.
take another pill to, you know, like, fix what another pill is doing to me. So, yeah, it helped me eat more.
Especially if you get like the right strain, specifically for hunger. And yeah. So what got you, Samirah? What got you into like starting this? If you can talk about the ISO holistics.
Well, I felt like I started personal training. I mean, I don't like to call it that. I've been always helping people, like, in general, with just like fitness. But I think more so I just recognize it as like more of a platform to kind of, you know, get education out there, and then obviously aid in people who are wanting personal training. I started recognizing that I was like profiting off of it more, and I'm like, oh, well, you know, we've got taxes, I can write things off, you know. So that was like a big part of me actually like starting the business, just like taking into account like what future assets and stuff I want to have in the long term. But more so just, I don't know, I like educating people, I like helping people.
Would you tell every person that they should be, I don't want to say working out, but being active every single day? Or like what are the benefits to that?
Most definitely. You know, for adults past 18, 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day, you know, is probably not a sweet spot for you. But I definitely think people need to be active. It also plays a role in like your sleep, your stress levels, so many different things. And I think that it should, I think movement in general, I think we've started to become so sedentary as a society, and I think that's just something that needs to be like more embarked on.
For sure. So Maya, on your Instagram, I see that it says you have a page called Abstract, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you have all your art that you do. And are those, go check that out on Instagram. What is it? Just Abstract?
Oh, yeah, it's Abstract with the B's in it, so it's ASTRACT.
Okay. Check that out. It's pretty dope. The paintings are crazy. They look good. I like them a lot. Are those for sale? Or are you
Yes.
selling to people?
Yeah, I don't really, like, I don't have a website up or anything. I'm working on it. I'm in school, so I'm, like, trying to get some more time to work on all that. But, yeah, I usually, anything on my page is for sale. So, usually, I don't even, like, post everything, which, again, I'm trying to get more active on, like, social media and stuff. I've been doing, like, a couple of events, and for a long time, it was more just, like, a hobby type thing. And I enjoy doing it and stuff, but I feel like she kind of pushed me a little bit to, like, she's like, people will buy this stuff. So I just try to find the balance of, like, when it starts to become a job, like, I don't want to, like, lose my interest or, like, my joy in doing it. But yeah, it's all of it's for sale. I usually just tell people, like, if you like one of them or whatever, like, just DM me about it. Or I have prints for sale, too, for most of my pieces.
So for an original piece, what's the price range around?
Oh, it depends. Like,
Let's do some marketing real quick.
Yeah, it depends. Cause I used to do portrait work, like charcoal portrait work, and those would take me like 7-8 hours a piece. So those I'd sell usually for higher, but my more like recent work, I haven't really put a price point on it yet. Yeah, I some of them take a lot longer than others, so it kind of just depends on the piece.
Have you ever tried putting art on shoes?
Yeah, I used to. So I was like a tomboy, like when I was little, and I grew up with a bunch of boys. And so like not that you have to grow up with boys to do that way, but yeah, I used to skate a lot and stuff, and so like we used to like draw all over our skate.
Okay, you used to skate.
You know.
You said you were the
Yeah,
next
I
Tony
could
Hawk.
skate, but I could never do like tricks or anything. Like, you know how they say like there's like a funny, or what is it, the dummy side? Like how you skate, right? There's like a straight and then like a dumb or some shit like that. So I would skate one way, but in order to do like an ollie, like do an ollie, I'd have to be like this.
Yeah.
It was like stupid. It was like made no sense. I could never like ride and do a trick. So I was like,
You just ride it.
yeah, I would just either ride it or just fucking do a trick. But that's crazy. So what made you get into art? Like what sparked that in you? You just knew you could.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been like a really creative kid. Like I was really creative when I was little. I was like always trying to like make random shit, and like I went through a phase where I liked making duct tape wallets. But I was making money off it. I was like 10. I was making money off it. Yeah. But yeah, I've always been like I was really creative when I was little, and then I was like drawing and stuff, and I think I got more into like realism. Like my mom used to tell me I'm like a perfectionist. Like I would draw something, and then I would get pissed when it like didn't look like the picture. And then I would say around like going into my freshman year of high school, I got a little bit more serious about it. And I kind of like wanted to be like a tattoo artist for a little bit, and then I don't know, I just started doing it more and practicing, and then I got a lot better at it. So my brothers are kind of crazy though, so they kind of just let me send it and like practice on them.
That'd be me though, Loki. Like here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I actually let her tattoo me.
Yeah, she's done a couple of mine also.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you did your tattoos?
Yeah, I did most of this arm, and then I have my legs done too.
Nice. That's dope.
wild.
That's crazy.
Can you show us?
If I did that shit, it'd be like, the fuck?
No,
Arm looks dirty.
Let me see. Put your arm up.
Dang, that's crazy.
That's
They all
cool.
kind of look the same, so I'm cool with it.
I like that. Do more.
What's like the most special one?
Most special one? Probably either my hand piece, or I have these mushrooms that I have on my leg that one of my friends that passed away in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, I had tattooed it on her like a couple months before she passed, and I still have the stencil from it, so I like tattooed the same exact one on me.
Oh, that's
okay.
cool.
Yeah, probably one of those two.
Do you guys like shrooms?
I've done them, but I don't. She's done it with me, but didn't really like necessarily feel like the effects behind it. I do.
I tried it twice.
Like,
yeah, it was alright. I feel like I want to try it, like really try it, and like just like I want to go camping and do it.
I've heard that's the best. I've heard that's the best thing you could do.
Camping?
Yeah, camping.
I
Shrooms in the
bet.
woods.
I like to just be high and camping. That shit's fun too. That's a blast too.
Have you ever been like on a real crazy trip on it? Or no?
I mean, not necessarily. I think I was just like I wouldn't say like I was like seeing like colors or like having like a bad trip or anything, but I just felt like great. I was like, nothing. What am I stressed about?
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it also has to do with like the space that you're in before you do stuff like that too.
Don't do drug, kids.
Yeah, don't do them.
If you can describe your relationship in 3 words, what would they be?
That's a good one.
'Cause I feel like you guys are so alike. Like, it's,
You
I'm
guys
kind
are
of
very
mind blown,
alike.
honestly.
Same level, it seems
Yeah, like I feel like you guys are both really smart. Like, you guys both like have the same interests and likes.
It's like, it's funny we talk about how we're like polar opposites.
Sometimes, yeah.
Really, like
Yeah.
I think. Well, I mean, you talk about it. You talk about
Well, she likes to sleep with sound on, and I hate it.
okay,
Oh, I
pet
don't
peeves.
like it
Let's
either.
talk about pet peeves. No, just kidding.
No, just like little things that we like. Like I have a lot of like sensory things, so I like when it's like quiet, or I just like I don't know. I have a lot of really weird. It drives her crazy.
Mhm.
It drives her crazy, but and she likes basically like the opposite of everything that.
It doesn't even have to necessarily be like loud. I mean, sometimes it does.
Like heavy metal music.
Like, no, it's not like that. It's much more like, I don't know. I listen to like more like lo-fi like sounds. Like that's just like what kind of
Yeah.
gets me in the morning. But she's like silence.
No, I like lo-fi. I like some lo-fi.
Sometimes.
But sometimes, like, I'll show her a song, and then she'll
I'm
play
one
the
of those
same
people.
song, like, for, like, 45 minutes straight. I'm like, you just, like, I don't even want to show her songs anymore, because she ruins the songs. I'm like, I never want to listen to this.
Oh, that's hilarious.
At least you know she can sing along with you whenever the song comes on.
Yeah.
She knows that shit
You
by
know?
heart. Every word.
Start doing the beats and shit on the fucking.
What would your 3 words be? I can't even think of 3.
I don't know. I think it's. I can't even put it in 3 words. Can I give you like a sentence?
If it's 3 words, I like. Fill in the blank. Go ahead. Or maybe like 3 things that you appreciate the most.
About her?
Oh yeah, about her that makes you feel
adjectives.
good.
Okay.
She don't like
It's
me that much.
I don't know. I think
We'll be
we're
back.
it's a I think everybody needs to work on communication. Like I think that's never gonna be anything that's mastered by any
For sure.
couple. You know, but
Oh, you get snaps for that.
Yeah. See, people
That's-
who it's rare when people get
I
snapped.
feel like people expect you to be like your communication's like here. It's like you might be here, but I'm here, so just give me some time.
yeah, that's something that we.
That's good, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what I would say is like it's like open in terms of like. I have to explain it because I can't. Sorry, not an open relationship. It's open like to the extent where it's like you have space to like be who you want to be, like be who you are, and like have space to talk about certain things. I would say. I don't even know.
You want me to say one?
Genuine. I would say genuine just because it wasn't anything that was like pushed. I think we took time to like really understand, like, you know, both coming from pretty serious relationships prior, like what specifically do you want in this relationship? Because I think at the end of the day, it is an investment within your partner.
For sure. For sure.
I would say challenging, but like in a good way, because I feel like, again, like we kind of reconnected when we were like both going through kind of like a rough time, and there were a lot of things that both of us were kind of doing that wasn't the best for ourselves, and we like I feel like we constantly challenge each other on that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like communication, like obviously everybody butts heads sometimes, but I feel like we've kind of gotten better at like giving each other space to do our own thing for a little bit. And I don't know, natural. I think natural doesn't really feel like forced or anything. Like we can talk. That's like one of my biggest things is like being able to like talk with somebody if somebody like wants to grow like intellectually and stuff. And she's kind of like a walking textbook, so that works out well. Yeah.
Let's talk about the coming out.
Oh yeah, tell us about your coming out story. Better be a good one too.
I don't really have a story. Like,
I know yours.
You just been a tomboy all your life, so they just knew.
Yeah.
Feel you on that.
Like it was weird because like one of my parents was like kind of like an asshole about it, and then the other one was just like I already knew. Like I remember my mom was like I was like visiting because I lived with my dad in high school, and I was visiting my mom in Colorado, and she was like it was like sophomore year. She was like asking no it was like junior senior because she was asking me like when like if I was going to prom, like if I had like a date to prom, and she like cornered me in the kitchen, and she was like trying to ask me. She's like, you know, it's okay if you like if you like go with a girl. My mom, like, I've been gay. I've been gay since like middle school, probably earlier than that. Like, my brother used to get mad at me because I'd always want to wear his clothes. Yeah, so.
That's funny.
That's funny. I do the same shit. That's funny.
What about you?
So I grew up in a very religious household, so it was more so like, I mean, I was really hiding it. But then one day I think I just didn't care. And we were moving houses or something. And I like had a picture of me and my girlfriend on my screen, like kissing or whatever, like the high school shit or whatever. But my mom like picked up my phone and I had it like cut off to the point where it was like you couldn't quite tell like who it was, like if it was a boy, if it was a girl, whatever. And yeah, just like it was terrible. And then my mom was like, "I'm not gonna tell you." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. And you might as well just go tell him." So I went downstairs. And I'm like, "I have something to tell you." He's like, "What?" I was like, "I'm gay." And he's like, "Oh my God." Like it was just a whole thing. I was like grounded for like 3-4 months and had my phone, couldn't do nothing. And then one day I just said, "Oh, I think I'm not gay anymore." And I got all my shit back. So it was very interesting. I think even throughout like my whole experience with like just understanding my own sexuality, like I think my parents are way more open about it now. Like they have her over, like they call you my girlfriend, like so many other things. But definitely it was a huge transition.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing too in like 8th grade because I still to this day do not know how my dad found out. I had like a girlfriend in like 8th grade. It doesn't really count, but it was like 8th grade.
It counts.
It don't count.
It counts. Okay.
It doesn't count.
We
Don't
count
listen
them
to
all
her.
around here.
No.
I'm not counting that one. Anyways, yeah, he called me into his room one day and was like, "Who is so and so, whatever?" And I was like, "That's my girlfriend." He's like, He's like, "So what does that mean?" And I was like trying to tell him like I'm gay or whatever. He's like, "Do you even know what that means?" I'm like, "Bro, yes I know. Like, what do you mean? I don't call myself that. I don't know what it means." But he kind of acted like he didn't already know. I'm like, I play basketball. Like, I do not dress in like feminine clothing. I don't know why he pretended like he didn't know, but yeah. And then because I played basketball in high school and stuff, and like we would always have like sleepovers or like hang out with my team because we were super close. Mm-hmm. And then he started telling me like I wasn't allowed to stay the night at anybody's house. So like my whole team would be over at somebody's house, and then he would like come pick me up. So like my friends would ask me like, "Oh, why can't you stay?" I'm like, so I told him I wasn't gay. Yeah, and then he found out again in high school.
Damn.
Do you guys feel like that's affected you in any way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, to some extent. Just because I think we both kind of just say like, you know, it's more about like the person that you're with, like that kind of distinction with being with someone romantically or intimately. But I do think like to some extent we've had conversations just about like, you know, what that looks like for kids, and we want to have kids, but like just I think when you're raised in a society that's around like heterosexuality, like it's kind of like you're kind of like, I don't want to say like
it's pressure.
It is. There's like a social pressure around it, and then also like safety reasons. I'm African American, you know, also too. So, but yeah, we've talked about different things regarding that topic for sure.
Yeah, for me, I feel like it's made me more like just people having like negative outlooks on it, or like in my family, it's like, you know, like they'll treat me with respect, or, you know, they'll make comments, whatever, you know how like old people are, like grandparents and stuff, but they make comments or whatever, but, you know, and then they'll like talk shit about like gay people and in any other context, but then they're like nice to me about it, and I'm like, that's so contradictory. Pick one or the other, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's definitely made me like not care what people think about me, and like I'm very adamant about the way I present myself. So especially with like professionality and like the way that I dress and stuff like that, especially because I'm like heavily tattooed. So yeah, it's just kind of made me like, this is how I am, and this is how I like to look, and this is like my personality and who I am as a person. So if somebody doesn't like it, then like that's their problem, not mine.
I feel like she's helped me out a lot with that too, just with like for certain like things that I've done like for clinicals or just within like my own programs, or just working like part-time jobs. Like I'm like, oh, should I cover up my arms? Like, do I need to do this? I can't wear like long sleeve shirts. I can't anything that shows my back because I have a eats on my back, like, and she's just like, you know, if they don't want to hire you, like, they don't want to hire you. That's their loss at the end of the day.
That's my mentality too, like that.
You can't base credentials off of somebody being tattooed. Like, if that's the case, like, then I don't want to work somewhere. Which has kind of been, obviously, like, the pandemic's not good, but a lot of the hiring has been, like, over Zoom or, like, on the phone, and then I, like, show up to work, and then they're like,
Oh,
they don't think that's what I look like. Especially because I do social work. People always tell me I thought you were going to be, like, some, like, old lady.
Oh,
All the time. Like,
hell, I'd be pissed. Your mom's old. Shit. That's crazy, though. That's dope, though. I feel like people don't... They're just so, like, submissive or, like, just so, like, enslaved just in the need to get a job, you know? They're just like, fuck, like, I gotta do all of this to impress them. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, not to criticize or like, fucking degrade shit, like, people that do work 9 to 5s, you know? But it's like, at the end of the day, you're your person, you know? You gotta owe yourself a certain level of respect and dignity, and, like, you know, just can't let someone fucking rule your life because you need a job. Like,
no, for sure.
it's way more important than a paycheck.
It is, yeah. Quit many jobs.
Same.
But no, it's not worth, like, your mental health either. Like,
yeah.
it's really not. I'm like, I don't need to be doing this.
That's why I quit every job I have. I'm so serious. I last like a week. I'm like, I'll figure it out. Baby got me.
I mean,
How often do you guys smoke?
Maybe, like,
You do more than I do.
yeah. You guys do it usually just to, like, help me sleep, because she sleeps with the sounds on. She also will, like, punch me in the... She literally punched me in the face. Like, she's so strong, and I'm just really not. And she also, like, takes up way too much space, so she'll, like, she's rolled over and, like, literally hit me with a closed fist. And then acted like it didn't even happen.
what happened to you last night?
Oh, I'm like, I need to wear, like, a helmet to sleep, bro. Like, shit. But yeah, usually just, like, before I go to sleep sometimes. And what was that thing with the distro?
Oh, my dad and my brother are part of a company called Happy Friday. They're in a lot of dispensaries. They have their own, like, organization or, you know, farm, or not necessarily farm, but they have their own organization around stuff that they harvest. But
So are they like partnered? Or?
yeah, to some extent.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, to some extent they're partnered. I mean, I don't know specifically, like, their job call, like, what they specifically do within the organization. I just know that they're a part of it. They also are at a lot of the events. They do a lot of stuff with, like, promoting. I mean, they've gone into, like, harvest also. So, but yeah, check them out.
If I wanted to go see where people grow it like a farm, would you be able to get me in there?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
Careful
then it was
what
I
you
not
say
just
now.
saying? Yeah. I'm
Careful
gonna take
what
you
you
on
say.
that. Did I not just say, like, last week I was gonna do that?
Yeah.
But I heard that, like, you have to schedule an appointment.
For sure. I mean, he's kind of like, I don't necessarily know the logistics or, like, what his position specifically holds, but I know that they have done that.
Pretty dope.
That's cool.
Oh, so wait, I got a question. What do you think about Menudo?
Okay. Yes, I do. So it's, you know, there's a lot of aspects that revolve around nutrition. So there's cultural, there's generational, there's the relationship that you build with food from a child into adulthood. I am not going to say, like, anybody's cultural dish is, like, bad or wrong for them, but ultimately you know what it is. You know what you're eating. You know what runs through there. So, you know, think about it. I'd explain it like this. Like, you know, when you rub lotion in your hand, it absorbs correctly. So if there's poop running through or stool running through something, you don't think that tissue is absorbing any of that?
I think that's...
She said you're eating shit.
I'm not going to say, you know, I think that there's, even within, like, the African-American population, like, chitlins, like, this, everything in moderation. I'm not going to say anything
you
is...
should still be able to enjoy, like, what you
want.
eat and stuff. Like, you should be able to enjoy what you eat, just as long as it's in moderation.
In moderation.
Once a year. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I don't eat it, like, every week, but... Okay, so I've had shrimp for, like, the past 5 days in a row. Like, loads of it.
She said loads of it.
It's probably not good, but Moderation. I'll keep that in mind. I feel like I can never do a diet. So I'm
Don't
glad
say
to
diet,
hear
say
this.
lifestyle.
This
It is a lifestyle. Because I don't think when you put that label on it, it's like you think that you're obligated to do those specific things when you're putting so much like external pressure on you for no reason.
Right.
If you like, granted, if I one day came to the decision that I want to eat we don't eat beef, but if I came to the decision that I want to eat a hamburger, I'm gonna go eat a hamburger. I'm not gonna tell myself I can't do that.
That's why we got our own bathrooms, because I would not.
Shut up.
Why specifically beef?
Why specifically beef? Just because it is really linked to a lot of inflammation in the body. You know, you take into account, you know, not necessarily local farms or like if you know how someone's raising their animal or whatever. Like, there's a lot of antibiotics that go into those animals because they have to have mass production of them. You know, whether it's calving or you know even dairy farms. You know, you're having to increase this animal's prolactin so that they can lactate, so that we can have their milk. When that's a whole nother discussion to get into about milk, but I think that also too, like it's like, you know, they remove the calves from their mothers like immediately, and that also puts a lot of stress on the animal. You know, also if they're not getting adequate sunlight, the sun affects everybody. Like, you know, food, water, space. You're agitated because we're sitting so close to one another. Well, there's so much space in here, or there's not enough space in here. It all takes a toll on how your body metabolizes things, or how your body digests things, or whatever. May not be getting the best quality. And then there's obviously like the antibiotic aspect of it too. Like, you know, those things run through a cow's body. It doesn't just all of a sudden dissipate. You know, think about if you're taking constant antibiotics or constant hormone shots, what that might do to your body over a period of time. I'm not giving you enough food, I'm not giving you enough water, I'm putting you in a 2x4 space. How's that going to make you feel? You know, it's more so looking at it from holistic, because people might just look at it and say like, oh, well, it's just a cow. Cow does, like, they have this like disorientation with the fact that like, yeah,
We learned about this in like biomimicry, but
basically you just don't think that this animal has some, just because they can't, you know, verbally speak to us, they still have some level of consciousness. You know, I think that that's something that also needs to play a role in just, you know, like in a lot of like indigenous aspects or even religions, like, you know, they kill these animals and like thanking them for their sacrifice so that I can have that. Also all plays a role. Like, think about how you talk to your dog. If your dog's happy or you're telling your dog to calm down, like that tone still affects the hormones and different things within their bodies also. So if you're putting this animal at constant stress, you can expect that fuel source to be like the most adequate. And then our soil, I'm gonna just talk on that really quick. Like,
watch Kiss the Ground.
Kiss the Ground. You know, our soil is like, it's what brings life. It's what we put into the soil when we die. It's what, you know, there's so many, it gives us carbon. Like, we need carbon. Our carbon emissions are like through the roof. Like, our planet is dying. I don't want to sound like I'm like this, like out on Pluto, but like,
No,
she tells me this all
we want
the
you to
time.
sound like you're out on Pluto.
you know, like people need to.
You
really
tell me
take
this
it
all the
to
time.
Oh yeah,
Or how much
People-
hot, it's so hot.
Yeah, global warming, all of that. Like, people need to start taking it serious. We're already at the beginning of the sixth mass extinction. You know, we're going to be talking about animals, how we talk about dinosaurs. Like, people don't think that that's like something that's coming. It's already happening. You know, we need to take, like, at this point, and I've had conversations with her, like, there's nothing that, and she's educated me on this also, that we could really do to, you know, fix that problem. But we could sure as hell slow it down a little.
We could slow it down, and I mean, obviously I'm not an environmental scientist or anything by any means, but just from like what I've learned and stuff like that, like it's to a point now where it's like what she was talking about with the soil, like our agricultural practices are like, we're like plowing and tilling the soil to the point where it's killing all the microbes in the soil, which literally they kind of, they like dig holes and stuff. They live in there and it helps trap carbon in the soil. So when we're plowing and we're tilling the soil to the point, and we're also only
Just
growing
the same plants in those same areas, same crop in those same areas, you're just reducing that specific nutrient that plant needs. So it's like,
there's no soil
there's no-
diversity or anything. So it's killing the microbes in the soil basically. But what was I talking about? The climate change.
yes.
Oh, that it's like not really. I was like trying to remember what I was talking about. That it's not really like you can't really like stop it at this point. But yeah, there's just
Like we will have wars over water and food.
I mean,
there
is
is
a lot of like indigenous communities and stuff. Like if you guys know who, like Autumn Peltier is, she's like a huge like indigenous water activist in Canada, and there's a lot of communities in Canada, like First Nations people, that they literally their water sources are being polluted. I saw a video a couple weeks ago in Ecuador of them putting in a pipeline and it busted and there's oil just spilling out like all into the water. And this dude's like recording it, like laughing. Like it's not funny. Like you can't fix that. You just have to stop doing it. But we also overproduce and overconsume. A lot of people think it's like the consumption that's the problem, but it's just like the whole like
The production.
it's capitalism. Like it goes into like how we work and how we eat, right? Like we're pushed to just constantly like go and move. It's the same with like big companies that produce like, again, I'll just use like plastic water bottles because people understand that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fossil fuels and stuff like that. It's like we're still producing that. We're still using the materials to make that. I always talk about like Teslas too. Like people think that just driving a Tesla is gonna help the problem, but you know how much material they use? They have to mine and rip out of the ground in order to make a Tesla battery. Not to mention that's not really feasible, for a lot of people. So.
And we're not saying this either to like, demean anybody or say that you should know these things already, because these are things that we've had to educate ourselves on. It's not necessarily something that is even given as a resource.
It's not common.
No, it's not common knowledge. And I think that it just needs to be talked about more within our communities and whatever it may be. I think, even if you don't think that you decided to get a Hydro Flask instead of, water bottles every day, you're still doing your part, whether it be small or big. I don't think that just because obviously there's, logistics to like having money and power, but I think that you stopping doing that is already reducing the amount of plastic that you would use for that year.
On an individual level, like it's so important to try and reduce your carbon footprint. Like try and reuse what you already have. Like try and if you have to buy something new, use something that can be like composted or something that you can use for like a long time that isn't just going to end up in a landfill after.
Yeah, we recently got in touch with this company at a farmer's market that they give you a composting bin and they pick it up like every 2 weeks. So you can put whatever you want in there, and that even is something that you can help with reducing your...
And they'll give you the alternative soil, they'll give you the soil back too.
Common knowledge is not common knowledge. And you should, I think I was talking to one of my friends about this today. We reach to like people who have power and who have money for their experience and their knowledge when like we just sat here and we talked about things collectively and it had so much value. So don't think that you just have to, look to somebody who's got, not saying that they don't have any value either, but I'm just saying like look to people within your community also. Bring each other up.
Yeah, that's why we're happy that you guys came on, especially last minute. So thank you for that.
It's huge. And I feel like this podcast is definitely informational and very educational. I learned a lot. I feel like I'm going to have to watch this video just to take notes because it's crazy. 11, thank you so much again. You guys want to drop your IG name? Maybe they can find you for some fitness and some nutrition.
Some art.
We can talk about some biomimicry. Is it right?
Yeah,
that was good.
Biomimicry.
Mine is at @sosis_Sammy on Instagram, and then my business page is at ISO Holistics. But yeah, thank you for having us, for sure.
Thank you.
Pleasure, for sure.
I already said my art account is it's AASTRACT abstract, and then my personal account's Maya Giffen. It's MIYAGIFFI. Everybody spells it wrong.
It's not
Cool.
Griffin.
It's not Griffin.
I'm just fucking with you.
And we're on Spotify, so make sure you check that out. The Girls Like Girls merch is on Instagram. Pre-orders live.
Tap in.
We out.
Peace.